Good morning, Chicago Cubs fans, and we are back with another edition of Cubs Daily. My name is Steven Ryan, proudly presented by Fan Arch. We've got a few things to get into today. The Cubs drop not only the series, but get clean swept for the first time all season by the Giants yesterday in a 4-3 loss. Just not enough hitting in that series. We're going to get into that. We're going to preview the Rockies series that we are going to have this weekend, and we're going to go over some of your guys' and gals' comments. But before we get into all that, just want to give everyone a big time thank you. We appreciate you riding with the channel, showing all your support, continuing to share your thoughts on a day-to-day basis as we go up and down with this Chicago Cubs team. Keep it rolling. Hit that thumbs up button. You guys and gals are the absolute best. So the Cubs fall 4-3 to the Giants. It was a well-played ball game. Shota, obviously wasn't his sharpest in the sense of he wasn't crisp. Obviously, when you think of the sharpest, it's either 0 or 1 runs. But Willy Adames got the best of him twice, and then unfortunately, like I said, I've said it multiple times throughout this video, we're going to go through the growing pains of Danny Palencia. I was telling you guys, this is why we need a closer, at the deadline. But obviously, there is a few more pressing issues that we have to take care of. I thought it was one of the needs of the team in terms of filling out the roster to the best of the ability. Obviously, as we know at the trade deadline, we did not do that as a team. But Danny Palencia, I think he's going to be the closer of this team for the next 4 or 5 years. I believe in that vision with him, but he's still young. He's still learning. This is a brand new role for him, and he still has to get some things down. And, the Giants kind of just went bing, bang, boom. And, that was ball game essentially for this one. And, obviously the bats did not do enough for this team, and they didn't do enough this series in general, right? The Cubs were 1 for 3 with runners in scoring position today, which you're like, oh, that's not too bad. But yeah, there's just not enough opportunities that come out of just 3 runners in scoring position, right? That means you have to maximize every time to even maybe have a chance at winning. Obviously, Michael Busch with a big-time bop today as well. Kyle Tucker had a couple more hits. Just, we're getting some players going, some players aren't going. It's just kind of a back and forth, and, we just need to get meshed together with the offensive lineup, and hopefully, maybe in this next series, that is something that they can do. But, again, just the lack of opportunities was just not there for this Cubs team, right? Like I said, they left 2 runners on base yesterday. They left 2 runners on base yesterday against them, and then in that absolute drubbing by the Giants, they left 5 on base, and then in that first game where they kind of just let it slip away towards the end, just again lack of opportunities, right? 2 for 6, they left 8 on base. So again, just the lack of opportunities allows not for much execution as well. So it's going to be an absolute grind in that sense, and the Cubs just were not able to get it done today as well. And in the series, they just did not look good, especially against the Giants team that just hasn't been good all year long, which to me is just crazy to think about that we couldn't take advantage of this as well. So, it's kind of here nor there in that sense. But, it's on to the next one, right? September right around the corner. There's still time to get going, but we need to get going. There's no doubt about that in this front. This team is too talented to be playing the way it's been playing. The Giants do have some good hitters, though, and they do have some good players, but they just haven't been performing well either in that sense. So, just got to chalk it up. That's the first sweep all year for this Cubs team, so that's hard to think about. So here we go. We got a series in Colorado going down here this weekend. The Rockies are by far the worst team in all of baseball. We're going to open up today's game with Cade Horton on the mound versus Herman Marquez, sorry, not the other guy. Herman Marquez, who's been a part of the Rockies organization for a long time now. Obviously, he's been there through the little ups and pretty much all the downs. He's got a 5 ERA. Last time he faced the Cubs at Wrigley, he actually pitched pretty well, believe it or not. So hopefully the Cubs can just get in that Colorado air, see that ball fly off the bat a little bit differently, and hopefully leave a nice dent in the scoreboard. I believe it was the Blue Jays earlier this year. They dropped 60 runs or 50 runs in 3 games, or just some obnoxious number. The Cubs don't need to do that necessarily, but you need to leave Colorado feeling confident, right? You need to leave Colorado feeling better, because what we've just watched this week has just been an absolute disappointment on that front. There's no doubt about it. I think Shota pitched well enough to win. Colin Ray did not pitch well enough to win. And Boyd, we're here for the debate. I think you guys are going to see it here in the viewer comment section. He was left in just a little bit too long in that sense, and I think he could have gotten away with maybe a win as well if, we were able to pull him at the right time, right? Believe it or not, with regarding to Craig Counsell, usually I'm kind of in the favor of he pulls players too early. In that instance with Boyd on Tuesday, he pulled them too late. So, it doesn't look good right now. Obviously, at least the Brewers lost again yesterday, but this is a great opportunity, right, to take advantage of them losing, get back in this thing, put some pressure on them, make them feel uneasy going into September. But unfortunately, we just weren't able to do that. So let's get to some of your guys and gals' comments over the week. I appreciate all of you. We got a few homies that kind of come in on each video, and I appreciate you guys. So we're going to highlight you this week, all right? So let's start with the first one. We've got our man Chris. I love reading Chris's thoughts. He's willing to share it all, so I appreciate you, Chris. But, hitting completely flat after the day off. Frustration with the lineup. Rinse, lather, repeat. Yeah, there's some similar things with this lineup that are just struggling. And this is in regard to Boyd as well. Said Boyd, as you said, a little too long. I think you said Jed, but probably meant Craig. I did mean Craig if I said Jed, so I do apologize. Or actually, maybe you are correct. Front office dictating more and more regarding lineups and instruction of what to do in game. I mean, a little Moneyball situation? I don't know. But no Casey, no surprise. Unfortunately, Craig is a creature of habit, will live and die by his own sword, but never really held accountable. Chris, I understand where you're coming from in this, man. Do not worry, just because, I'm not sure what you want to see in terms of accountability. Again, you can comment down below what you want to see, but, if this team kind of pitter-paddles at the end and, they see a big drop-off in production and all that good stuff, then I think you will see some action being taken. I'm not sure what you want to see in terms of accountability from Craig. I mean, his press conferences are pretty straightforward. Baseball is an, execution game, right? Like, you got to execute. If the team's not executing, that's not on Craig. The team has to be better, plain and simple. Craig can cost some games sometimes, but he can also win some games. Craig is kind of a moot point for me personally, but I understand the frustration amongst Cubs nations, no doubt. But I agree with you. We need to see Casey more. Casey needs to be a better ball player. He doesn't need to be a better ball player. He needs to play baseball so he can become a better ball player, is what I meant to say. But I agree with you generally, Chris. It's just frustrating to watch when you know this team is talented and they can't seem to find any sort of consistent success at either pitching or at the plate at the same time. It is pretty frustrating, no doubt about it. I got another regular in the chat, our main man PG the Cook. He says, "Go Cubbies. Love Suzuki, but the man needs to sit. Let Owen DH or bring up the little big hitter up." He says Ballesteros, but he means Ballesteros. I think we all know that. I think that's his name. Yep, you are absolutely. It's not Ballesteros, but it's Ballesteros. We know what you mean. Ballesteros had one of the biggest hits of the year so far, still to this day, against Milwaukee, to kind of salvage that series, kind of keep it moot point, avoid the sweep, etc., etc. But Suzuki definitely needs to sit. He needs some kind of mental relaxation day. I'm not sure what he needs to do to find that success again, but I 100% give him a breather. I suggested doing it here in Colorado. Some other of you guys suggested doing it in San Francisco. Either way, it needs to happen. Bottom line. So get him out of the lineup, get him out of the game, let him watch baseball from the bench for a little bit, and maybe, just maybe, we can start to find success with him at the plate as well. Because here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen, we got a solid pitching staff. This team ain't gonna do anything if we can't hit. So plain and simple, if we're not hitting in October, it's gonna be early exits, regardless if we win the division or we don't win the division. Bottom line, we have to be hitting to win baseball games. There's just no doubt about it. I think our pitching is good enough to win. Obviously, we can't be giving up 900 runs a game, but we know what this team can do pitching wise. The bats need to wake up, no doubt about it. So, appreciate everyone tuning into today's episode. So, I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your Friday. I'll see you guys in the morning for another one. Enjoy the last day of the work week and have a good weekend. I'll see you soon.